Hello and welcome to this session. This is Professor Farhat, in which we will discuss responding to a cybersecurity incident. Specifically, we're going to look at several steps to see how companies respond to cybersecurity incident. Now, in the prior session, we looked at cybersecurity incident, and we said cybersecurity incident is an adverse event. An event is anything that takes place electronically in our information system, through our computer system, on our network. Certain events are normal, reoccurring, like sending email, receiving email, downloading documents, accessing databases. And certain events are adverse. They do affect us negatively, like downloading an email with a malware. That's a cybersecurity incident. It's an adverse event. In this session, we're going to look at steps that companies do to do what? To respond to cybersecurity incidents. Now, there are many well-known organizations that have their own framework, outline several steps. NIST, the National Institute of Standards and Technology, NIST. If you're studying for the Information Systems and Controls for the CPA exam, you need to know a lot about NIST. They have their own framework. SANS, the System Admin Audit Network and Security Institute, the International Organization of Standardization, and many others. What we're going to do in this session, rather than going through each framework separately, we're going to look at an overview covering 7 steps. And those 7 steps, they cover most of the steps in the other framework. So the steps that we cover, basically they overlap among all the framework. Not likely on the CPA exam you'll be asked, for example, this step belongs to which organization. I highly doubt it. They might ask you about, looking at this step, in which stage does this step takes place? Is it the reporting stage? Is it post-incident analysis? Is it the containment stage? So on and so forth. So the first thing we're going to do, we're going to look at the 7 steps, then go over each step separately. Let's go ahead and get started. Before we proceed any further, I have a public announcement about my company, FarhatLectures.com.
Farhat Accounting Lectures is a supplemental educational tool that's going to help you with your CPA exam preparation as well as your accounting courses. My CPA material is aligned with your CPA review course such as Becker, Roger, Wiley, Gleam, Miles. My accounting courses are aligned with your accounting courses, broken down by chapter and topics. My resources consist of lectures, multiple choice questions, true-false questions, as well as exercises. Go ahead, start your free trial today.
The first step is preparation. The second is detection, containment, eradication, reporting, recovery, post-incident analysis. We're going to go over each step separately. I'll explain what the step entails, give an example to help you understand what takes place in this step. Again, on the CPA exam, they're not going to ask you, list of 7 steps and explain each one. That's not what they ask. They're going to ask you, do you understand when is this step utilized? Or they're going to give you a scenario, tell you which step does this scenario belong to? Or what is detection? What is recovery? That's what you need to be familiar with. Starting with preparation. Preparation is, number 1, the first step in planning how to respond to security incidents. And here what you need to do first is, do you have the right team assembled? Preparation means what? It means things that you do before an event happens. Are you prepared? The step 1 is preparation. Do you have the right people? And we talked about the team in prior session. We talked about what would the team look like, what should be the profile of a team, so on and so forth. Do you have the proper tools? Do you have the software, the technology? And do you have plans in place so the organization can effectively deal with a range of possible issues? So notice this happens before anything happens. So this is part of the incident's response, but you have to be prepared. And this including choosing technology, like to find security weaknesses, like softwares that checks for vulnerabilities. Preparation could also include intrusion detection system, IDS, like a software called Snort, that should be in place to detect any suspicious activities and alert us. This is part of our preparation. Employees might also be trained on recognizing phishing attempt to prevent malware infection. This is part of the preparation. while IT staff undergo more specialized training to quickly isolate and mitigate threats, ensuring business operation can recover quickly. So in the preparation steps is you have to have the people ready, IT, non-IT, you have to have the tools available, and you have a plan to respond. So this is what takes place in the preparation step. So this comprehensive approach making sure that the organization is not reactive, waiting for something to happen, but proactive. Proactive means ready for something to happen. Now, we hope that nothing will happen, but if something happens, we are ready to deal with it. After preparation, technically the first step should be detection. Well, we detect something, but before you detect something, you have to be prepared, having the tools to detect it. But once the second stage kicks in, the second stage is all about noticing. Now you start to raise your eyebrows, saying when things aren't running as usually do. Now here you're looking at irregularities, anomalies, and deciding if they are okay or if they signal a security issue that needs attention. So you see suddenly a high traffic on the network. Oh, is this normal? Or what's happening here? Or are we experiencing a DOS, denial of service attack? So, sorry. So this step involves monitoring unusual activities that deviate from the norm. Then you analyze them to see if they pose any threat. For example, a company might have a system in place that alerts them when there is unusually large volume of data being transferred out from the network. Once we notice this, it will alert us that 5-6 gigabytes are being transferred at the same time. This could be a potential sign of a data breach. It doesn't have to, but a potential sign, because that's not usual. That's not what we usually do. Why is this happening? So upon receiving such an alert, the IT would investigate the activity to determine its nature. What's happening? If the large data transfer was an employee backing up files as part of standard procedure, then it's justified and it's okay. If the investigation reveals that the unauthorized party is attempting to exfiltrate sensitive data, it means get it out of the system, this would be classified as cybersecurity incident, triggering a response to address the threat. Now, so this process is crucial for distinguishing between benign activities, benign means they don't affect us, and genuine, real security threat, allowing for appropriate response. So now we detected something. What do we do next? We'll try to contain it. Once a cybersecurity has been accurately identified, the next step is to limit its spread to prevent additional harm. I'm thinking right now, I'm just going to think out loud. If I was writing the CPA exam, I might give you the steps and tell you put them in order. That will be a simulation. That will be fun, right? So the next thing you do is you want to limit the spread to prevent additional harm. This is the containment stage. Slow down the process. Slow down the attack. Try to stop it. This pause also gives cybersecurity team more time and the opportunity to figure out the best way to fully remove the threat from the system. So containment, it's going to buy you a little bit more time. Now, containing the threat can involve both technical actions, like cutting off part of the network. Hopefully your network is segmented. If that's the case, it's cutting off automatically. Disconnecting affected computers, literally disconnecting, or switching off compromised servers to shift their workload to backup. So this is technical issues. Or you could utilize it. There's not or non-technical strategies like alerting staff to hold certain ongoing activities that might make the situation worse. So now you're trying to slow it down, contain it. After this step, you want to eliminate it. You want to eradicate the step. You want to eradicate, not the step. You want to eradicate the problem, the virus, the attacker. The eradication phase focuses on completely removing, you see this, delete, removing the cybersecurity threat and fixing any system that were impacted. This can range from straightforward solution like replacing compromised files with clean backup to more intricate methods such as specialized software for decrypting or getting rid of malicious files. Also, the organization might conduct thorough reviews of system logs, who logged in, or monitor network activities across the board to ensure the threat has been fully eradicated. At this point, you also want to monitor, see ongoing, making sure that we are truly done. So in extreme cases, it might be necessary to rebuild a system from scratch, which could lead to the loss of important data. Well, the solution is making sure you have a backup and a backup in the cloud. So this is the eradication step. Then we have the reporting. The reporting phase is all about effectively communicating of the incident to different groups within the organization, management, IT staff, and employees impacted. Now, it's important to customize what you share to various groups. You don't tell everyone the same thing. This means providing a clear overview of what happened, the implication, what happened, what's its implication, and what's being done. But tailor this information to management differently, what IT staff definitely differently than what you're reporting to employee. For example, when an incident occurred, the IT team might receive a detailed technical reporting outline, the nature of the security breach, the system affected, the technical steps. So it will gonna report outlining everything, the security breach, the system affected, the technical steps for containment. Why? Because the IT people are involved, they understand it, and we want to let them know as much as possible because they are responsible for this. Now, management, on the other hand, would receive a summary of the incident impact on the business operation. What's the impact of this on the business? Potential risks, a high-level overview of the response strategy. We don't tell them the exact what's happening. Now, how about employees? Employee get incident in general terms. You are attacked, it's a data breach, that's good enough. With specific instruction on any immediate action they need to take, if there's any action they need to take, such as changing password or being extra vigilant for phishing attempts, but you don't give them, specific information. So the most specific will go here to the IT. Less specific to management because they don't need to know the technical, and here you give them general information. So this targeted communication ensures that everyone is informed to the point that they need to and knows the role in the response and recovery process without overwhelming them with unnecessary details, and without sometimes you don't want to share information that you want to keep it not proprietary but limited within the IT team or limited within management. Then we move on to the recovery phase. At this point, we contain it, we eradicated the problem, let's recover. This is focused on getting the organization IT system back to normal, fully working condition after a cybersecurity incident. So this step should be tackled in stages, starting with action that enhance security and have significant immediate effect. Kind of plug the hole. That's the first thing you want to do. After addressing the most urgent needs, the organization should move on to broader long-term strategies. This include making major changes like alerting the IT infrastructure to help avoid similar incidents in the future. So what could be example of a recovery? For example, after a cyber attack, the company might initially focus on restoring critical services with enhanced security measures. Critical means important services, but we want to make sure they are protected, such as stronger encryption or more rigorous access control to quickly resume operation while minimizing immediate vulnerabilities, because you could be attacked shortly thereafter as you are recovering or right post-recovery. As the situation stabilizes, the company then will evaluate and implement more comprehensive changes like moving sensitive data to a more secure cloud service. Now you're kind of taking steps to kind of make your stuff stronger, strengthening, adopting a zero trust network architecture where people have to kind of constantly verify themselves, enhancing employee training, let the employee know about cybersecurity, teach them, train them, make them aware of it. And this phased approach ensures that operation can resume quickly. So you do it in steps, but also building stronger, more resilient IT environment for the future. You don't want to build everything really quick or recover real quick because you could expose yourself. So you want to do this in stages with the most critical services yet, then move on to strengthen secondary defenses. Post-incident analysis, this is where you're sitting down and reviewing everything that happened. This is the final stage of dealing with the cybersecurity incident. Now it's reflecting on the event to do what? To understand, to gain insight, and make improvement. This involves both senior management and the employees who are directly impacted, reviewing the entire incident to understand how it happened and identifying opportunities to enhance future responses. Here you are learning. You are really learning from a real life exercise. This review process look at how quickly and effectively each of the 6 preceding steps were executed, pinpointing any mistakes or any delays. And following this analysis, the incident response team might produce a detailed report summarizing their finding and recommendations. So this will be in addition to the report. This is like a final one that's really comprehensive. And based on these insights, what we'll do, we'll take necessary steps to do what? To be prepared for future incidents. Hopefully they will never happen. An example of this, after a data breach, the company could conduct a thorough review of the incident timeline from detection to recovery, how long it took. How long it took us from detection to recovery. That's the time we're going to be measuring next. This might reveal that the detection phase took too long, because we don't want that to happen, because employees were unsure or unaware, unsure what to report or unaware of the threat. As a result, the company might decide to improve training program to ensure employees can more effectively recognize and report potential security threat. Also, if the analysis shows that recovery efforts were slowed down by outdated backup system, we might invest more in more modern, efficient backup solutions. So the lessons learned from the post-incident analysis would then be incorporated into the incident response plan, ensuring the organization is better equipped to respond to similar incident in the future. Always the last step is reviewing, learning, adjusting your policy. Let's take a look at this multiple choice question from farhatlectures.com. After a cyber attack, a company is determining how to enhance its security position. Which of the following would likely be considered a long-term strategic change in the recovery phase? So we're in the recovery phase, and this is considered long-term change. Replacing compromised passwords immediately. Well, that's not a long-term strategic change, because you're going to ask employee to change their password on a regular basis. I would say A is out. Switching to a more secured cloud service provider. Would this be a long-term strategic change, switching from in-house to a cloud service provider? I would say this is a long-term strategic change. I will keep this answer. Applying patches to software vulnerabilities. That's needed, that's immediate. That's not long-term strategic. Between C and B, I will take out C to keep B. D, review an access log for suspicious activities. You want to do that, of course, but this is a long-term strategic change. No. As we expected, B as in boy, switching to a more secured cloud service provider is a long-term strategic change that's going to improve our security position. What should you do now? You want to go to Farhat Lectures, look at additional MCQs. Whether you are studying for the Information Systems and Control exam or some other professional certification, invest in yourself. Good luck, study hard, and of course, stay safe.